Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Darling, and I'm bringing y'all on another walk today. It is very nice out here today, about 80 degrees. It's supposed to be scorching here in Las Vegas all week long, and because of that, I am trying to get back into shape, get my steps in, yada yada yada. Last week I didn't make as many videos as I would have liked to make because I was under the weather. I had some type of sinus infection, cold, whatever you want to call it. In fact, I had to call off work Monday. And in doing so, obviously, you know, you call off work, it's gonna put you behind a little bit. That's what it usually does for me, because I rely on each day to make up, you know, my expenses for the week. So calling off and getting sick is usually not an option, but I just wasn't feeling it. And I see all these older people talking about going into retirement, having a retirement plan, you know, having a nest egg saved up just in case they do get sick, and how they'll be able to take care of themselves in their old age, or when they're indolent, you know, can't move, you know, can't get stuff off on their own or whatever. And then, you know, stuff like that happens where I get sick and I have to call off of work and all that extra stuff. It got me thinking, man, I need to like really plan for the future. I really need to have some type of retirement plan. But most people my age, most millennials, don't have any type of retirement plan. Hell, most millennials, most people my age don't even have any type of savings just in case something goes wrong. And like I said, even just a simple illness can put a lot of us under, right? I see a lot of older people that are a little bit older than myself, talking about their retirement, how they're scared, mostly because a lot of them probably have been in their jobs for 20, 30 years, and they've been laid off recently, and they didn't prepare to be out on their ass, not, you know, literally, but, you know, figuratively, not bringing in the income, or close to literally being out on their ass because they don't have that income. You know, a lot of them are expressing themselves through short form content, through long form videos, talking about the careers that they had. And even a lot of these people that did prepare, sometimes, you know, one illness or one sickness puts them behind so much that they eat away through their savings because they have to take care of that illness. Cancer, you know, heart attack, stroke. Sometimes parents get sick. That's what I get sick. That's what I'm afraid of. My mom getting sick, me having to take care of her, me not having the money there. And, you know, it's a lot of pressure there. So even when you are a healthy individual, or you feel yourself as mentally of sound mind, I'm not always mentally of sound mind, but for the most part, I'm able to take care of myself, and I'm healthy enough to take care of myself. But you think about the people that you love. If one of my kids gets sick, you know, I want to be able to be there to provide some type of something, some type of relief, some type of something to help them through their illness. But I don't have that. Insurance, I don't even have. And I think about this for a lot of people, and I don't feel like just to feel guilty about it, but I see how many people are in that predicament. And it's not for a lack of planning. It's not because I haven't worked my entire adult life, but it's because you live paycheck to paycheck most of the goddamn time, and there's never no room for savings. You know, how many of you guys have legitimate savings that y'all can consider to be a nest egg that will hold you over until, you know, you're 75, 80 years old, you know? And even when you do, you know, it's like I say, there's no guarantee that you won't get sick. My dad worked his entire life and got cancer. My dad worked his entire life, retired in the mill over 40 something years, right? Had a retirement, got cancer, was able to live out, I don't even think a whole decade of his retirement before he passed away. So he worked most of his life and he didn't even get to enjoy his retirement because he was sick. And we're conditioned to do that, you know? And then what happens? You know, there's different estate taxes and everything that gets divvied up, you know, through the system and all that, and that's how it's designed. They want to work you until the very end. So when they get on there and they say, oh, we want people to be working to 75, 80, is that what I'm fucking planning for, to be working for the rest of my fucking life? Probably not, with robots and everything. But even then, one thing I saw somebody say, I'm not gonna have kids because I don't need nobody to take care of me in my old age because the robots are gonna do it. You think you're gonna be able to afford a robot? You think they're just gonna give robots to people? Y'all really think everybody's gonna have like their own robotic slave? No, and even our AI companions are only there to like spy on us. They're not necessarily there to freaking, you know, they're there to gather information, data to sell to the highest bidder, you know. But as far as like having your own autonomous robot, you got $20,000 to drop on a machine that can fold your laundry for you. You know what I'm saying? And if you're talking about old age, I'm pretty sure they maybe have robots that are capable of getting the job done at that point. But is the robot gonna be able to wipe your ass? You know what I mean? Is the robot gonna be able to really love you? You know, these are the questions that I'm asking myself. So when I say I don't have a retirement, shit, I don't even have a plan for the future, bro. I don't have a plan. I would love to have a plan, but I just don't, you know? I'm stuck here, you know? My whole generation is fucked. And I see everybody judging each other for not having. That's what I think is fucking hilarious, right? I see all these people talking about, oh, you're supposed to have this, and you should have this by this point, and da 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 da. But then when they lose it, they like, oh, nobody ever told me that life wasn't fair. No, it's a scam. It's made for the very people at the tippity top. I'm not saying that doesn't mean that you don't try to live your life. But I guess my retirement plan, or my plan going forward, is to do what I've been doing. Live. Enjoy days like this where the weather is favorable for me. Come out here, get some fresh air, you know, enjoy my free time, because free time is very valuable. It's my time. And just appreciate the fact that I do have my health, you know? I won't always have it, you know? To appreciate the fact that people that I care about have their health right now. They may not always have it. That's what I think about. So, a retirement plan, I'm gonna try to, you know, keep myself healthy and mobile until the wheels fall off. God forbid I need somebody to take care of me. And God forbid I get put in some nursing home. But even people, like I said, that have the best laid plans. My dad, in his last days, my cousin Toya took care of him. You know, he had cancer, was like going through his spine and all this other shit. Had them spread through his body, as cancers tend to do. But no, you know, that's not something that you could plan for. You know, obviously, you know, in working, he was able to make himself as comfortable as he could in his last couple years. But it's still, I don't know. It still says a lot to me, you know. And I just passed the 3-year mark at my job. They gave me a little pen. It was like, oh, Jeremy's been here for 3 years. It was a cool little thing, you know. But obviously, me being as cynical as I am, at the back of my mind was like, okay, this pen is cool, but did you guys give the people that worked here 14, 15 years a pen before you fired them for some stupid shit? You know, I think about stuff like that. You know what I mean? That comes up into my head too. That's me being cynical, but I am proud that I've been there for as long as I have. I didn't plan on being there. And I know it's just a simple little part-time job that I work in order to survive, but you know, it's my job and I am lucky to have it. But there are people that don't have work right now. But like I say, my plan for the future, I can't think that far out. I want to be able to, but there's always some expense or something that comes up. Like, you know, even for like little stuff that I plan, right? I know y'all see all my toys and stuff. That's usually stuff that I could just buy, just right on a whim. But as far as planning out stuff, like, let's say I want to get like a graphics card or a PlayStation, I can't think that far ahead as far as planning out. And I know that's a fucking problem, because I've always been like that. I just think, you know, maybe a week, 2 weeks ahead, if that. And I have to be better about that, especially being as old as I am. But I'm just me. It is what it is, you know. Old habits are hard to break by this point, but I do want to be able to see farther out into the future, or into, you know, my future, so I can plan things out a little bit better and have more foresight about how I move and shake in the streets, or at least about how I try to save money, you know, especially when there's no like little expenses and things that come up. But y'all, with that being said, I'm done rambling. I just want to talk about retirement and having a plan for the future, because I know that's something that's on a lot of people's mind right now. And like I said, I keep seeing videos of older people talking about their lack of retirement, and so it got me thinking. Plus, with me being sick and not having anything, you know, in the tuck in order to carry out that sickness, or to pay for that sickness, you know, got me thinking I need to plan a little bit better for myself. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. Until you young people that look at people my age and everything like, damn, I hella don't want to be that nigga when I get old. Yeah, touche, I get you. But also plan for the worst, or plan for a contingency in which maybe your money or whatever didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. And if that's the case, plan on still surviving this world, getting up every day and enjoying life to the best of your ability, because money ain't the be all end all of everything. Yes, it does make you comfortable, but there's more to life than just how much money you can accumulate, despite what the powers that be want you to think. So with that being said, y'all, I'll catch y'all next time. I hope y'all like my shirt.